everybody. Hi, I'm Keith Vitali. Welcome to Psychic Podcast. In this episode, I want to share with you an exciting event that I just had with my beautiful wife, Kathy, in the Czech Republic. The event was called the Knights of Bushido and was hosted by this wonderful producer named Jan Sikora. Now, this trip exceeded all my expectations. I was very honored to receive the Martial Arts Royalty Award. Give me a second here. Pretty heavy, pretty nice, isn't it? It's nice being royalty. And I received this honor along with three others. The Queen of Martial Arts, Cynthia Rothrock, a very talented, incredible martial artist named Keith Cooke, and then this fantastic actor, stuntman out of England named Silvio Simek. Now, I've had so many friends of mine tell me about how beautiful Prague is, but I couldn't believe it when I first got there. This city, historic part of the town, is like frozen in time. It was built in the 14th century, and the infrastructure, the food, is so beautiful that it was very hard to believe. And we were honored to have our host, Jan, take the four of us and then give us a tour of the city. Now, it's so cool because as we came in to get to our hotel rooms, we had to go up this gigantic hill to the top of the hill. We had to pass the American Embassy on the left, and we go through these gates up to the top of the hill, and we get in our hotel. I open up my windows, and I'm looking into this ancient plaza, and to the right of me is this beautiful castle. Now, this castle is the Castle of Prague, a very, very famous castle, and it's the house of past Bohemian, past Roman emperors, past Czech presidents, and it's the current residence of the current president from Czech. It's a big, big tourist attraction. Now, it's so cool because at the end of the day, we got settled in, and then our host took us up. It seemed like 1,000 steps to the top of the castle, and we went to visit the residence. And my first thought was not only how beautiful and historic it is, but how much better in shape the people in the 13th century were back then than me, because I was huffing and puffing when I got to the top of the steps. Well, it was a great, great adventure that first night. And then the next day, we traveled a couple hours to another city called Nanchad. And this city, Nanchad, was also built in the 14th century. So it's very historic. And again, beautiful hotel. You opened up your windows into the plaza. You see churches and all these beautiful, these buildings that were built back in the 14th century. I loved every bit of it. All right, well, the first activity we had was a screening of a movie called Black Creek. And this so happens to be the movie that Cynthia Rothrock was being honored as well, that she produced and starred in. In fact, she wore so many hats in this film. I was fortunate to have a cameo role. I fought in one of the fight scenes, the great Benny Urquidez, and that was a nice experience. And also Keith Cooke, who was receiving an award, was one of the major stars in that film. So it was really nice to have everybody there. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why this movie was so cool to watch, because I had never seen this movie before on a big screen. The audience was packed in this theater, and it was just kind of cool. I loved it for sentimental reasons, because it had a big budget look, because it was filmed at the Mescal Film Studios in Arizona. Now, these are the same studios that all the old John Wayne movies were filmed, movies like The Quick and the Dead and Tombstone was filmed, and Tombstone being one of my favorite movies. So it was so cool to be at this stage in my career and have a fight scene on the same grounds that Tombstone had their fight scenes and their shootouts in. So that was really nice. And the movie starred, of course, Cynthia Rothrock and Keith Cooke, Don Wilson, Marcus Taylor, and also the late, great Richard Norton. What most people don't realize is that Richard Norton was 77 years old. He's unfortunately just passed away, but he's dynamic. He's fantastic in his fight scenes and his performance as an actor as well. So you should take a look at that. And also, there was a lot of wonderful female roles as well. Let me read a couple of them out. There was Brandy Fudge, Forbes Riley, Eliza Kelly. They all did good in this, along with Janine Avanti and Michelle Wu. There at this event as well. The next night, we had another attraction. We went up another set of steps, even more steps than the one in Prague, to this castle. You think you're frozen in time. You climb up these steps. All of us are exhausted. Not just me, but all of us are, because it had to be at least 1,000 steps. And so here we go up to the steps, and we come into this courtyard, and this courtyard is all prepared beautifully with lights, and it has food and drinks, and it's just wonderful. There's hundreds of us there, and we're gathered around, everybody's talking, and then all of a sudden, exiting out of the castle, the doors open up, and this troupe comes out. They're a performance group, and from the Middle Ages, and they had the same attire on. They had the same thing you would have worn back in that time. They all were carrying shields. They had weapons like axes, spears, swords, you name it. And what they did was they performed for us. So we all stood back, and two at a time, it was about a dozen of them. Past time they come out, and they would have mock fight scenes. And they were so realistic. You could tell these were such professionals because the sparks flying off the shields were just impressive. And it was very violent, but we're going, oh my gosh, that was so cool. So we all clap at the end of it. And then Jan arranged singers. Believe it or not, opera singer comes out, sings an opera. And then next, a whole new group of performers come out of the cast, samurai soldiers. It was so impressive. And they put on a demonstration as well, demonstrating the accuracy of their weapons, their bow and arrows, as well as their mock fight scenes with their swords. It was pretty interesting. So what a great night. We all enjoyed it. And then the next day, there's a series of seminars. And the beautiful Cynthia Rothrock puts on the seminar herself, and it was crowded, and people loved it. And then Jen had also martial artists from around Europe, all over Europe, Poland, Germany, you name it, England, perform demonstrations at the same time. So that was a great festivity to watch during the day. Then the next night, we had the key event, the blank tie event. And this is when Jan gets on stage and he presents all the Hall of Fame awards to wonderful martial artists from all over the world. I was very impressed to meet so many of these people and receive the awards. And in between giving out awards, he bring out entertainers. And again, the samurai people, the Middle Ages fighters would come out, and martial artists would come out, do demonstrations and sword demonstrations. And it was just a wonderful event. And then for each of us to receive our royalty awards, we were more than honored. And in closing, I just want to say, listen, I had a wonderful time, my wife and I, as well as everybody there. It was a very highly successful event. And if you ever have a chance to attend the Knights of Bushido Award, please do so in the future. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, ciao.